You know, the 80s was like 40 years ago. When I was born 40 years ago, it was greaser times. It was like 1950s. Does anybody else feel like stuck in time? It feels like the 90s were 10 years ago for me. Like it was like last decade, and I can't get out of that. If you're born, does the year that you were born feel like 10 years ago, even though you're not 10, hopefully? Like, I feel like it was last decade. I guess if you're born like later 90s, you probably feel like that was longer ago. Like the 90s were like 20 years ago. 37, don't do this to me right now. I mean, that was your choice. Why'd you turn 37? We're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's play Bomberman. Stuff do go boom. How have you guys been since Thursday? Anything new, crazy happen? Ren Fair? I went to a Ren Fair as well, the OB. You didn't happen to go to the same one I did you? Unless you're, okay, no, okay. Yeah, I went to the one in LA, the Pleasure Renaissance Fair. I went with Alpharad, Rebel Ross, all those guys. I went with a good amount of money this time because I feel like every time I go to a Ren Fair, I'm always like looking at armor and swords and shit and being like, fuck, I wish I could afford that stuff. And usually I can, it's just I just have this feeling that I can't afford anything. So this time I went and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna treat myself.
Treat yourself.
And I bought real fucking armor. So I bought real ass blacksmithed armor, which you can see in my Twitter. I bought some swords. There's somebody who's selling swords like very cheap. And I don't think they're like super great quality, but I don't have any swords. So I was like, you know what? I'll buy some very cheap, low quality swords. Am I gonna wear it for a music video? Yes. I used the card that I use for business expenses, so I have to. I think that's how that works. I feel like if I do anything from Elden Ring, I'll be able to have a good costume for it. What kind of sword? I got one that's kind of Gladius styled, kind of a smaller hilt. And then I bought a Dark Link Master Sword replica. Part of the reason why I was like, you know what? I don't need a crazy sword. You know what I mean? Like I went to this one booth and I was just like, hey, you know, like how much is like that sword back there? And this lady was like, well, we only make custom swords. And I'm like, oh. She like totally like judged me for like somebody who had no fucking clue what I was talking about. And she was right. But I don't like being treated like that. They only make custom swords. The swords are personalized to the person buying them. And they sell the swords at like a price per inch of the sword. And it's an exorbitant amount of money by the time you get the sword. The one I was looking at was a $4,000 sword, and that would have been one that was like one that would be my size. So I was like, you know what? I don't need that. I don't need that kind of a sword. I will get a cheap sword. I will buy a sword that is $100. Thank you. Put it on the business card. The business card doesn't mean I have infinite money in it. It just means I can write it off at some point in the future. No, the business card's not an infinite money glitch. Well, it's funny because like she was like looking at me and like talking to me slow, and she's just like, see here, we think of swords as tools, not props. And I'm like, lady, I just want a cool sword. I don't know why this has to be a whole thing. Is this true? Well, see, like I didn't want to ask that, but that was what I was thinking, Lapinus. I was just like, what? What purpose am I going to be using this sword for, lady? In fact, now that I think about it, what purpose do you use swords for? But you know what? I didn't want to know. Well, I mean, murder is implied, but I mean, like if it's like a fencing sword, I get it. But these were like Damascuses. Like Damascus-style swords. It's fun to learn how to murder. Okay. Ooh, gold, and right on the money. All right, this is the one that we have issues with. Let's see if we can do it. Were you all able to stay cool and hydrated? It was insanely hot, but I had brought like a hydro flask to make sure that I had water on me. You bitch. Well, murder isn't for everyone. No, especially for people who are being murdered. Well, actually, I guess they're partaking in the murder. So, I don't know. I guess murder is for those people. It's just, they're not on the better end of the stick, of the sword. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you didn't want to get murdered, just, you know, just simply choose not to get murdered. I would have just gotten out of the way. As long as you were sure that it's okay, we're still friends. No, I think that's just manslaughter. Like, consensual murder, I think that's what that is, right? I don't understand why this is so hard for me. Let's try it a different way. If you did it for a bit, is it man's laughter? Yes. Can't spell slaughter without laughter. Doesn't mean you need to do both at the same time. Okay, that's how I'm doing it forever now. I'm gonna reset because that sucks. So yesterday I was in LA for the Ren Fair, bought a bunch of swords, bought some armor. I bought a flute, I played Megalovania on it. Breaking every new instrument with Megalovania is true. And then we went back to Jacob's and we watched the Creator Clash. Did any of you guys see that? I was sitting next to Ross the entire time. He was sad because all of his friends lost, but I mean, Aaron was up against Harley from Epic Mealtime. I feel like every fight pretty much went the way I thought it would. There was so many fights that I feel like were set up to be like an underdog victory. I don't think anybody really sucked. Everybody seemed like they trained, you know what I mean? Like, which is cool. It seems like everyone at least took it a little bit seriously. Like nobody went out there and just started swinging. You have no idea what I'm talking about? iDubbbz put on a essentially like an MMA fight, but all of the people involved were like content creators. So it's like internet common etiquette. Eric, and then the final match was iDubbbz versus Dr. Mike. But yeah, Aaron Hansen, Ego Raptor fought Harley from Epic Mealtime. Actual people fighting, like in a ring with gloves, sometimes a helmet. Like the KSI Logan Paul fight, except more YouTubers. You know who fucking like fought really fucking well that I was not expecting was Michael Reeves. Michael Reeves was insane to watch. It was cool, man. I figured he'd fucking replace his arms with robot arms, but he had good like form. Like it looked like he knew what he was doing. He was doing like all the like, I don't know, it was crazy. Would you have participated given the chance? I would not. Yeah, I don't know if it would be good for me to go with that. I would do something like commentate or do some form of music. Actual fight, probably not. Cheerlead. Yeah, I'd be a cheerleader. I went up with Drumsy, actually, who also lives in the... Oh, that guy just... That was just sad. We just witnessed that.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
I was telling Ross I would do it if it was like, it's the same concept like all creators and stuff, but instead of fight, they play Rock'em Sock'em Robots, like the actual board game thing, but they still had like all the crazy like camera angles and stuff, you know? Like they're getting around them and stuff, and they had like a giant audience and stuff. Or if it was like Wii Sports Boxing, I'd do it. Oh no! I just walked off the raft. I didn't know you could walk off the raft. You know, in that exact moment, neither did I. Maybe that's what TRG Coliseum, except we actually fight each other. I guess I would have to fight Jules Conroy, and it would just be Conroy Bowl. Yeah, I got him. Yeah, he's dead. We're gonna save a lot of, well, not a lot of time. I guess, what? How are we not saving? Oh, we're not saving more time because I died during the fish. But we did save time because I actually got that trick that was screwing me up. Gold! Put you guys in a pit, give you guys sword and armor. Dude, I would love to play like Gorn or something. That'd be cool. What other N64 games do you plan on running besides Bomberman, Mario 64, Banjo? Ocarina of Time is gonna be my next project right after I get the time I'm going for this one. Snowboard Kids, probably not. I love that game, but the speedrun looks kind of boring. No, I'm probably not going to speedrun Harvest Moon. One of the things that is a prerequisite of every speedrun is it has to be a game that I played a lot as a kid, because I'm going to need to have that love of the game to be able to get over the fact that I have to drill it as hard as I will have to. You know what I mean? Yes. Dig Dug 64 will be one of my speedruns. After you've drilled it in the beginning, it's like playing the game for the first time again, I would say. It's really cool. Like I would say it definitely takes a lot of stamina in the beginning to learn the route. After you learn the route, it's a completely new game, but it's the game you love. That's why I like speedrunning a lot. It's just like an excuse to play a game that you're obsessed with more after you've beaten it a million times. That's like, if you're looking for a game to run, I would say pick a game that you've beaten multiple times, because it'll just feel like a new challenge. What if the game you've beaten multiple times is an RPG? Then don't do that one. Unless it's got a cool route. Like, check out the route. Some RPGs are cool. Like Final Fantasy is a horrible game to speedrun. There's just a ton of menuing. Please don't be there. Please don't be there. Please don't be there. Oh my god. Okay. Hate that guy. It's a kind of a jump scare. No! I need like the hover boots from Ocarina of Time. Oh god. Don't be there. Don't be there. Don't. Oh my god, again? Fuck. It fucking sucks when that thing is right there. It's so hard to get around him. I'm gonna be there this time. Oh my god! Dude, this sucks. I hate this. You have to be like on like fucking Lakitu skip edge of that to fucking get around him. And it's totally RNG. He might be there, he might not be there. So here, he's not there, okay. This fucking sucks, dude. So you're saying it's Lakitu's fault? Lakitu could be the that's true, but he has been a scapegoat for so many of my complaints. If I could blame it on Lakitu, I would.